Have you guys found the mirror yet?
Oh my god. They're like
Right,
filming.
it's a person.
They're like filming.
What the fuck is happening right now?
I don't know.
Is he part of... Is he with the CIA?
He's filming a porn.
I don't know. It might be the FBI.
Yeah. He's pretty sus. Let's get the fuck out of here, man.
Wait, I gotta grab the waifu.
Alright then. Everybody see me? Yep. Okay. Hi everybody, I am Mike TheZorch, and this is VRChat. It's a new series I'm starting on here. I'm going to be discussing various things about video games and such. Any topic that you want. I am in the night version of the underwater cave. I was going to be in the black barn, but it's currently full of people right now. So if you want to join me in the chat, you can do so on the various platforms I stream to, which would be YouTube and Twitch, DLive, or Facebook. Or you can come into VRChat and come to the night version of the underwater cave. It's very simple to get to. You can get through it from the hub in VRChat, and then there is a portal to the night version of the underwater cave. And I'll be here. If you want to ask questions or anything, just feel free to do so. I'm using OVR drop, so I can now see the chat window in the VR environment. So I can see what you're saying in chat, finally. I had used this for my stream earlier today for Beat Saber, and it worked out pretty well, so I can see what people are saying. Anyway, let's get on to the topics. E3. Pretty underwhelming this year. What it is without an audience at the presentations there, it doesn't have the same energy. Just doesn't. That's the one thing that this whole pandemic thing has done. It's just sapped the energy out of these events. I mean, you could really feel it at the Final Fantasy Fan Fest. When I watched those, you can really feel it. And they tried. They really tried to inject a lot of energy into that event, and they succeeded in doing a lot of that. And there was a lot of emotion, especially with what Soken had to say at the end. And they tried to inject a lot of fun into it as much as they could without there being a whole lot of people there. Apple faked an audience with their presentation later on. I thought that was a little interesting, but without an audience right there for the E3 stuff, it was just no energy to it. Who had the strongest showing? Xbox, hands down. They had the strongest showing. We really didn't see that much more than what was revealed beforehand, before all the big events happened, because a lot of videos were done beforehand. Like, Ubisoft did a big presentation of Far Cry 6. I think they should have saved that for E3, that big, long presentation. They should have saved that for their E3 show. But, it's what it is. And I think, what they're doing with Far Cry 6 is pretty interesting. I mean, I'm a fan of the Far Cry games. I've played all of them except 1 and 2. I got into it with Far Cry 3. Boss, I thought, was a pretty interesting villain. Ming, I think he was just nuts. He wasn't that great a villain. And then, Far Cry 5, I think the main villain in that, what's his name? He's the religious nut. He was a bit more compelling than Far Cry 4's villain, than Ming was. You know, he wasn't necessarily an evil man. Despite all the evil things he's done, he thought he was doing what was right by his people and others. And he was a religious fanatic, so that can drive people to do some pretty terrible things in the name of good. Now that's interesting. I like interesting villains like that. That's why Emmett Silk in Final Fantasy XIV was such a good villain. It's because he wasn't necessarily evil. He was a good guy. But the things that he was doing in order to achieve his goals were not exactly righteous. And probably some of the most compelling villains, some of the most dangerous villains are those that, do bad things in the name of doing good, or who think that they are the good guys. Like Britai from Macross, Thanos from the Avengers MCU, villains like that. Well, moving on, I'm rambling. With E3, there was so much to it. The Xbox presentation was just full of stuff. Don't remember half of it. But I know that they had the strongest showing of all of them. Lots of really interesting games. Most of them will be coming to PC. Like nearly all will be. What I'm most disappointed about in the Xbox presentation is Starfield. I'd hoped that we would get more than just a teaser. I wish we'd gotten more than just a teaser, and we had to wait until afterwards to watch videos from other YouTubers like Obsidian Ant and some other people to actually get a little bit more details in an interview with Todd Howard, and we should have gotten a lot more information about the game other than just a teaser. I mean, this is their big presentation, and then they really should have at least told us something more about what to expect in the game then. That was their big chance to do that, and then they didn't. But overall, Xbox had the best presentation. They focused primarily on the games, primarily on it. And that's what people want to see. And, for the longest time, PlayStation fanboys were just haranguing Xbox, saying, Xbox has no games, blah, 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 blah. The same old crap. And now, like, all these exclusives coming out, it's like, Microsoft played the long game. What they did is Microsoft invested a lot of money and bought up a lot of studios. They bought Bethesda, which is a coup for them. And they bought up a lot of other studios, and they were investing for the long haul. And the Sony's fanboys were just laughing and pointing at them this entire time. Now they're not. Now they're hopping mad. Why? Because all of Bethesda's games are going to be Xbox PC exclusives now, starting with Starfield. The other games that they're already currently committed to PlayStation for are going to come out, but anything new is going to be locked to Xbox. Maybe not permanently. Maybe it's going to be a timed exclusive for Xbox, and then later PlayStation players may get them, or maybe not. Microsoft may decide to make them exclusively Xbox and PC. And, karma's a bitch. Seriously, karma's a bitch. And so all the shade that was thrown at Microsoft by the PlayStation fanboys is coming home to roost. And so there's a ton of games that they probably would want to play that they're not going to be able to because they're going to be only on Xbox from now on. And Microsoft invested the time and money into building up a huge portfolio of studios to produce exclusives for their console. And what has Sony been doing? Sony's been catering to the woke crowd. They've been catering to the political correctness crowd with the stuff they've been doing, and what's that done to serve them? It's making them lose market share. And they're losing ground in Japan, which was traditionally their strongest market, to Microsoft for the very first time. The Xbox is actually selling really well. It's actually selling out there. And PC gaming, believe it or not, is just exploding in Japan. It's just exploding. It's getting huge over there. PC gaming is just growing by leaps and bounds. You can buy some really good pre-built systems from Japanese PC builders there. It's amazing what's going on. Excuse me. Some minor adjustments. Okay, so moving on. That was the Xbox and Bethesda presentation. That was better. That was better than most of the other videos I've seen. I would say, if you want to say that somebody won E3, Xbox hands down. Ubisoft was not as strong. I mean, they had some interesting stuff to show. Very disappointed that they did not say anything about Beyond Good and Evil 2. I mean, we got the teaser, that really good teaser a long time ago, and then another good teaser video, but it's all CG. No gameplay. And it's like, okay, where is this game? What's going on with it? I mean, are we going to get an update of anything? And what we got from Ubisoft is doing a couple of TV shows. And maybe something maybe a little bit more info on Far Cry 6, which I'm probably going to get that after I wait for the reviews. I never pre-order. Unless it's a Final Fantasy XIV expansion, I never pre-order. So I'll wait until the game comes out, wait for the reviews. If it's good, I'll get it. Most likely that will be one of the very few games that I saw that I'll probably get. There were a lot of indie games. I watched the IGN streams, and God, the chat was just absolutely toxic. Just beyond toxic. It was pretty horrible, pretty bad. So I minimized the chat, and today there was the Capcom, and today was pretty forgettable. Capcom had a very small showing. They showed a few things, the new Ace Attorney and I just watched it, and I don't even remember most of it. It was like, you know, but it was interesting. Razors was a little interesting. They have a new gaming laptop coming out. Linus Tech Tips is going to be reviewing that most likely at some point, and a new gaming monitor, like a $700 monitor, a display that costs as much as a good PC. Premium brands. And before that, there was a few little presentations like the Freedom Games was pretty interesting. The little the indie games look pretty interesting. What I didn't like at the beginning of the streams today was all the wokeness, all the political correctness, which that has no place in E3, really. I did not really like or appreciate it, and people in chat didn't either. I mean, that stuff is very dark, very evil. It has no place in E3, and it shouldn't be there. But they had it, and it's pretty bad. And some people in the chat said this is going to be the end. This will be the end of E3, and I tend to agree. This sort of thing is going to ruin E3. If they continue down that road, if they continue pushing, that agenda, they continue pushing that agenda, it's going to ruin them. Like it's ruining a lot of companies that are pushing that. Some of them, they're putting, they're turning their logos into rainbows for Pride Week. And most of them are not doing it because they support it. Because I don't get me wrong. I support gay rights. I have nothing wrong with the LGBTQ community. Nothing wrong with them. Absolutely nothing wrong. If you love someone who is the same sex, I don't care. I don't care. If you love someone, that's love. Why should I be against love? I'm not. Yet they want to shove it down everyone's throat. They want to force us to use their I'm getting on my soapbox, but you know what I mean. And it doesn't help. This stuff doesn't help their movement. It hurts their movement. And these companies are changing their logo to the rainbow logo of the LGBTQ community, not because that they are in support of it, but because they're afraid of what the liberal media will do to them. They're afraid of what cancel culture will do to them. And so a lot of them are doing it. Anyway, but I've been rambling. I mean, this is supposed to be chill chat. Just talking about various subjects, focusing on E3, which I haven't been doing that too well today. But getting back on track. There were some interesting things, but I really was not that impressed with E3 this year. Now, there's going to be some more videos coming out this week. Nintendo is tomorrow. They have their big Nintendo Direct tomorrow, and I expect that there's probably going to be some interesting stuff from them. I do have to admit that from a lot of the other presentations, especially for indie games, there's a lot of imagination out there. A lot of imaginative and innovative stuff is coming. And you can see the contrast between the AAAs and the indie games. Like the AAAs, they're sticking to mostly what is safe, mostly what they know, and the indies are experimenting. They're trying all sorts of really interesting and innovative ideas for new stuff. They're taking more risks, whereas the AAAs are not taking as many risks for their games. I mean, like Halo, they're going, like with Halo, they're like going back to their roots for the multiplayer, where they first started. They're going back to that rather than really innovating. They're just going back to what, their fans liked the most, rather than, trying something completely new. Upload VR also did a video. I do recall Upload VR. I am a little disappointed there wasn't as much to show. Sorry, moving around. A little disappointed there wasn't as much to show in the Upload VR segment. There was some interesting stuff. I would have liked to have seen more. I know there has been somewhat of a drought of good VR titles. I mean, we got some really, really fantastic VR games in recent past, like Half-Life Alyx and Boneworks. But we need more. We need more really big games. Full-length AAA quality VR titles. We really need those. And we're not getting those. And VR really needs it. Valve is investing a lot into VR headsets. I mean, they're working on machine mind interfaces with sensors. They're going to have a sensor add-on for the Vive Index, which we'll probably be able to use with any other headset. And a lot of other headsets are starting to really innovate. A lot of other headsets are either in the development stage or are about to be released. And they have eye tracking, face tracking, and neural sensors for brain interfacing. So a lot of really innovative stuff is coming for VR, both standalone and connected to PC. And a lot of amazing stuff is coming, and we need the software to run all that stuff, and we're not getting the software right now. I was hoping to see a lot more for the VR thing. Now, there were some really interesting stuff. There was a few interesting things for VR, and I might actually try out, might even stream some. We did get to see, moving on to another subject, we did get to see more of Back 4 Blood. Back 4 Blood is a zombie 4-player co-op game that is developed by the original developers of Left 4 Dead. That looked okay. Looked pretty good. I'm a little leery about it for not supporting mods, as far as I know. That's the one thing that made Left 4 Dead great, is its Steam Workshop support. In fact, it's still played by a lot of people because of that. So I hope that changes with Back 4 Blood, that there is some mod support in that. Another one that stood out to me, and this came as a part of, I believe it was in the Xbox video, was Redfall. And it was basically a 4-player co-op Left 4 Dead style shooter, but with vampires. That would probably be pretty interesting. I would like to see more of that game. Now, what we got was a trailer, of course. In fact, most of the games that were announced or seen, we got nothing but trailers, hardly any gameplay. Not really that much gameplay. Other than that, everything else was mostly forgettable stuff, Didn't see anything that really truly stood out too much. Just the little bit of Far Cry 6. Yeah, they got another Halo coming. Outer Wilds 2 is in development. At least we got an announcement of that. That was great. The teaser for Starfield, I think at least it would give us some idea of exactly what it is they're trying to go for with that kind of vision they're trying to go for with that game. They're going more for the gritty sci-fi sort of side. So I really want to see more Starfield. I do. I'm not going to get overhyped for it. And when it comes out, I'm going to wait for the reviews before even attempting to touch it. I do have a release date, 11/11/22, which is sort of a nod to the launch date of Skyrim. Skyrim launched in 11/11/11. And I don't imagine it was that long ago already. It's the 20th anniversary of Skyrim. And of course, they're probably going to release a whole bunch of new editions of it. 4K ray tracing update to Skyrim Special Edition. Watch, they're probably going to do it. I bet you they're going to do that. I bet you anything. That's what they're going to do. I am surprised that EA didn't do anything. But then I think with a lot of the controversies that have hit them in recent months, I think EA is going to want to keep a low profile. I had hoped that we would see if they were going to do a Battlefront 3. That would have been great. Or what any new Star Wars games they had in the works. Were they going to do another game in the Jedi Fallen Order franchise? I'd like to see that story continue. Where do Cal Kestis and the others go from there? Because they left that wide open in the end. Are they going to continue on with that? What's going to happen with the Titanfall franchise? Titanfall 2 was a great game that got overshadowed by Battlefield, and it was released at the very worst possible time with some big releases from DICE and others at the same time, and it got overshadowed by them, and it should have gotten a lot more attention. It was a superb game. It was people compared it to Half-Life. You don't see that happen too often. And then you don't see that too often. The rest of E3 really wasn't that memorable. The PC gaming show had some interesting stuff. Nothing that really stood out, nothing that I can really recall because it was never really stood out that much. Mostly a lot of games that could have been just console ports. Most of them probably were. Just a generally mostly uninteresting E3 this year, with a few small interesting parts. Overall, but week's not over yet. Now this is just the weekend. Now there is no E3 venue because of the crap that's going on, but there will still be more videos and more information revealed over the week. As I said, Nintendo is tomorrow, and there's likely to be a way more information and interviews and everything. So we may get to see more of Starfield. We may get to see more of some of the other interesting games that were revealed, like the new Borderlands-inspired game, the Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I'd like to see that. But overall, and it just was not that impressive in E3. Just not. Just really not. All right. But let's move on from some E3 talk, because that's really all I wanted to really say about E3, about the videos over the weekend. It's really all I really wanted to say about everything. As really, as I said, there wasn't much that was really that innovative, really that stood out. There were a couple, but they were just, like I said before, there was no energy in it. No energy. Oh, there are some people showing up. 3 people, 4 people. Whoa. Anyway, moving on to some other subjects. I might actually be getting some people here. Anyway, there was a new No Man's Sky update that really improved the visuals of the game significantly. I've not tried it in VR with these new visuals yet. I don't have a graphics card that does DLSS, which, from what I understand, really improves the frame rate of the game, especially in VR. But, yeah, it looks like that's just a bunch of friends coming together. I don't see... Well, this is just the first of these videos. I don't have my own environment here in VRChat, so I'm gonna have to look into seeing how I can do that. That would involve doing Unity, and I don't know Unity, so I have to figure that out. Anyway, I think that's all I really wanted to say today. I haven't seen anybody in chat, but then this is just the first of these videos. So I think what we'll do is we'll cut it here. But next time, be some more stuff. Maybe I can get Tigra to come into the chat with me and we can talk some stuff. We were gonna do Gamer Gab, but I think what we'll end up doing is merging that into this. Anyway, I have been Mike TheZorch. I really want to thank anybody who was watching the video, and I'll see you guys next time.